Hello and welcome. I am the Suit&Tie Dip&ChewGuy, and this is a Suit&Tie Dip&ChewGuy picks video. We will be taking a look at 8 must-tries dip. Must-tries in my opinion. Okay? So, there is a wide assortment of this, all right? These are dips that would be usually not in people's normal range, but I think you should try them if you can find them. They're either not in your normal taste preference or they're not easily sourced, all right? But if you do have the chance to find one of these, even though maybe you're a wintergreen guy and that is way out of your normal range of flavors, I think everyone, no matter what your preference is, should try these at least once. Okay, so we'll start with that one since I already held it up. Kodiak Straight. This is the only classic straight profile, flavor profile that I like. When I say classic straight flavor profile, I usually put straights into one of 3 categories. All right. The classic ones like Skull Classic Straight, what straights used to all taste like. And then there's the smoky ones. Grizzly Dark Select is one, and the Copenhagen product, Copenhagen Straight, is another. And then removed even further is Stoker's, which is sort of by itself, although the Smoker's Friendly Dip Straight is somewhat like it, but that's because it's made by the same company, National Tobacco. So, out of the original straights, which is what most products are, I don't like original flavored straights. The older straight product. I don't like, I don't get why people. I guess back in the day when it was, well, you can do wintergreen or you can do mint, and then you have natural and straight. I guess, it set them apart from the natural enough that people were like, wow. To me, they're usually sort of like, well, this is great. Except for this one. Now, this one is not easily found. All right? I have run into people online that are like, oh, yeah, they sell that at the gas station at the corner near my house. Usually people are like, I haven't seen that for years. Or, I didn't know Kodiak had a straight. They do. This is it. And if you ever see it, put out the extra couple bucks. Unless for some reason you just can't do straight. It's not overly sweet. It's not like a Stoker Straight, so it's not overly sweet. All right? And it doesn't have the smoky aspect of the Copenhagen product. It's just a plain Jane straight flavor. Nicotine is in line with other top tier products. It's not like the wintergreen from Kodiak. But if you see it, if you chance upon it, I think everyone should try this. Moving on. Copenhagen Southern Blend. Now, this is one that people are going to really, really like or possibly not really like. All right? What you have here is a sweetened natural, okay, which sets it apart from the pack. It is a sweetened natural. A lot of people down south say it reminds them of Southern sweet tea. I'm not from the south, so I don't really have a good judge of sweet tea as a flavor. But if you see this, now this has wide range. It was originally just sold in the eastern United States. It is now coast to coast. And I believe Canada has a Canadian version of this. If you see it, you may want to check it out. All right. Then you have the dessert dip of dessert dips. It is a second tier product. That's how I tier it anyway, or place it. Timberwolf Peach. Now, although the Skull Peach, I like that one too. And I like it because the peach is sort of a more natural flavor with a very strong dark tobacco undertone. This one is more candy-like. All right. But it's good. Nicotine's not terribly high, but it's not terribly low either. In fact, it may have more nicotine than the Skull Peach. But if you see this, this is probably the dessert dip to end all dessert dips. Timberwolf Peach. Then we have a mint. Now, I am not a mint guy. I am a Stoker's guy. Sturgis Straight is my everyday. I think everyone should at least try Stoker's just for the cut. All right? Now, in long cut, they have this, the wintergreen, natural, and the straight. The straight is very different, but it is sweet. So if that's not your thing, keep that in mind. The natural is extremely salty. All right? I think you should try these. The wintergreen's all right. I mean, it's not. It's a pretty bold wintergreen. I think everyone should try a Stoker's long cut just for the cut. Now you go whichever way when it comes to flavoring, but the mint is the one that gets a lot of attention online. It is a very bold, very popping peppermint. I am not a mint guy, as I said. That said, this does, when I think of mint, this one is the one that sort of stands out in my mind. All right? It's about as mint dip as you can get mint dip. All right? Stoker's Mint. Then we are going to go back to a straight. This is somewhat like Copenhagen Straight, only they have upped the dial on the smokiness. I have liked this product ever since it came out. This is Grizzly Dark Select, of course. All right. It is basically the only Grizzly product that I really, really like. Okay, and in that way, it sort of stand out just like that. I am not a Grizzly guy. I never have been. There's nothing wrong with them. I think the quality's there, and I think they put out a good product. It's an American Snuff Company that makes this, along with the Kodiak that I showed you. I've just never, nothing's ever really clicked with me when it came to Grizzly, except for this. And I have always liked it. I use it. I go back between this and Copenhagen Straight for a stand-in to mix things up a little bit from my Stoker's Straight. Right now, I'm going with this. Sometimes it's Copenhagen Straight, which is an excellent product in itself, but this one, the smoky factor is up a bit, and that's sort of standoutish in my mind. Then we have Hawkin. Now, technically, this is not a dip. All right? This is actually fine cut chewing tobacco in a can. Nicotine is low. It is a wintergreen. It is very sweet. All right? It's about as sweet wintergreen as you can get, except for maybe the beech nut wintergreen, like loose leaf chew. This is chew, though. It's just fine cut. People are like, oh, it's a fat cut dip. No, it's not a fat cut dip. It's a fine cut chew. And I could prove that to you, but they have removed the tax class off the side of these, I have noticed. And I couldn't find my older can. If you look at the tax class on one of these, one of the older cans, it is tax class C. All dip is tax class M. You got sort of a cube cut, and that is something I'm borrowing from pipe tobaccos. Sort of a cube cut or fat cut on it. It is very sweet, and it is wintergreen. I am not a wintergreen guy, but whenever I see this, because I don't see it often, I will pick up a can just to mix things up a little bit. All right? So, Hawkin. Then we go to a natural. This time not sweetened, and this time rarely seen. You wouldn't think it would be rarely seen, but as it turns out, nobody ever sees this. And there's confusion because the original line from Skoal is classic, like Skoal Classic Wintergreen and Skoal Classic Straight and Skoal Classic Mint. This is just Skoal Classic, as you can maybe see there. It's a light gray can. It is a natural. It is not overly salty. It is extremely mellow. Now, Skoal Key was well before my time, but I am wondering if this is sort of, if the Key was predecessor to this. That's what I'm wondering. Cut's good. It's easy to use. Skoal cut, all right, which is sort of engineered for beginners, really, and probably they do that on purpose. It's a very mellow flavoring natural, all right. It's doesn't take any risks. It's not too salty. It's not this, that, next. It's not too strong nicotine-wise. None of the Skoal Classic products are. Really, none of the Skoal products are, period. But it has a really great cut, as does most Skoal long cuts. And by not taking any risks in any one direction, it is so down the center and mellow, it's almost stand out for that reason. If that makes absolutely any sense at all. Maybe not. Anyway, I never see this. This can here, well, it's empty now, but I get these shipped in from time to time, depending on who's sourcing for me and whatnot. I think Haas 304 has sent at least one at some point. I love this stuff. I would probably buy a roll of this a month if I could find it in a Wawa near me, but they don't carry it. And that's what I hear from basically everyone everywhere. Didn't even know they had that. What is that? It's Skoal's Natural. Skoal Classic. And then the final number 8 slot goes to the product that made me think of doing this list, and it's one that I reviewed recently. It is the Gold River. It stand out because it's the only, in my opinion, the only dip from Swisher that is all right. It's an interesting idea. They get close in a couple aspects, like the cut. Could it be better? Yeah, of course it could be better. It's from Swisher. You know, there's any number of ways this could be better, and I guarantee you they have the money to make it better. But they will not spend that money. So we are left with this. Nicotine is low. The flavor is maple syrup. The cut is Western. What you basically get is a very long cut. All right? And it's not bad. It's not a bad long cut. It does get a little soft after a while in the mouth. I'm not saying it starts migrating or anything like that, but coming out, it will leave stay-behinds. All right? That said, the biggest problem with this product is low nicotine. It doesn't have much nicotine. All right, so don't lose whatever your normal dip is, because this is not going to take its place nicotine-wise. Swisher got close with this one. I was really surprised. I was very hopeful. And then I was pleasantly surprised. As I said, there's a lot of ways this could be better. The flavor could be slightly stronger, or at the very least, longer lasting. The cut, as I said, it does get soft after a while in the mouth, and the nicotine is too low. The can is pretty nice. This is not a color combo. I said this in the review that I particularly care for, but for whatever reason, it works. Listen, I've said this before in video, probably quite a few times before. I have an issue with Swisher. And the issue I have is they put out products. Now, I am hearing that the new Creek, formerly Silver Creek, and the new Kayak products that are coming in metal lids are a little bit changed and a little bit better. And I am thinking, I will let you know, I am thinking that I may review some of the new products in the new lids. Playing with the idea. That all said, Swisher has all the money they need to make better products. All right? You think about what Swisher, what they really make their money at. It's small machine-made cigars. All right? Half of urban America is rolling up blunts with Swisher sweets. Yeah, they're cheap, but when you're selling millions of them, it adds up. Swisher could make an attempt. For example, CN Smokeless. Okay, they make Klondike and Derringer and Decade. Had a mental freeze there for a second. Klondike is the best of the three. Derringer and Decade are the same thing with different stickers on the cans. They're garbage. And somewhat unsurprisingly, because CN Smokeless, that's what they do. They do those three dips, and they're a small company. I believe, I haven't done a review for a while, but I believe North Carolina, Grover, maybe. You get what you pay for. You know, they're really, really cheap. It's from a small company that, you know, there are worse. Canada Sago comes to mind. But the difference between CN Smokeless and their crap dips and Swisher and its crap dips is that CN Smokeless is a small company that probably has limited funds. And Swisher is supplying all of urban teenagers in the United States with cheap machine cigars, and they have a ton of cash. So why can't they put an extra, you know, point something into their smokeless products? You don't expect it from CN, you know, so it is what it is. But Swisher could be better. They could actually make a play, and it irritates me that they don't. Because more products on the market that are competing at the same level, the better for the market. Thus, the better for the consumer. Anyway, they did get close, or at least closer, much closer with the Gold River. And if you see it, I suggest you try it. You may not like it. Now, obviously, any of these things, you know, if you feel like you're going to puke every time you smell wintergreen, don't get the Hawkin. Okay? This is my opinion that I am putting across to you. If you know better, then, you know, if straights make you gag, don't put out the $7 for the Kodiak Straight. You know? If the smell of peach makes you nauseous, no, just don't. These are suggestions, and only suggestions. So those are my 8. I'll run through them again. Kodiak Straight, Stoker's Mint, or for the Stoker's Cut, any of their 4 long cuts. Skoal, just classic. Hawkin, fine cut chew in a can, wintergreen. Copenhagen Southern Blend, which is, by the way, long cut, but it is the medium cut, just to let you know. Sweet and Natural. Timberwolf Peach. Grizzly Dark Select. And the newly re-released Gold River from Swisher. And that, gentlemen, and the few ladies that are about, is that. I will be doing a short news video because tonight is the last night of uploads before my week off, or 10 days off. So that will be coming up soon. I do hope you all are well. I hope this has at least stirred ideas with you. Do take care of yourselves. I'll be back in a little bit with the closing video. God bless.